you're catching the replay. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you comment throughout it just like it's a regular video. I respond to all the comments, and I will answer any questions that you have, so feel free to drop them in there while you catch the replay. I'm just going to get some stuff situated while I wait for people to pop on. Hey, I see you. I hope comments are going to work for me today. How are y'all doing today? I see everybody popping in slowly. Awesome, my comments are working. That's great. Hey. I see you guys both. So today we're going to go over the base. If I'm leaning, sorry, I'm just setting stuff down. Hey guys. I'm so glad that everybody's hopping in. So I'm just going to go over visualization, meditation, just like the basics of it. And with that, I'm just going to kind of talk about what it is and just like the real basics. And then I'm also going to talk about ways to work on visualizing, because I know some people have like issues actually visualizing certain things fully. So just some little exercises and tricks for that. And also going to go over the basics of color magic, because it was requested a little bit to go over that. Drained, but it could be the weather. The weather really plays an effect on how I feel a lot. Thankfully the weather's pretty nice outside today. I actually have my window open. It's kind of hot, but it's nice enough that I felt like I could dress up a little bit and not just sit in my pajamas. Okay, I might give it probably like just another minute and then I'll go ahead and get into it. But for any of y'all that are here now, how do you guys do with visualizing? Are you good at visualizing? Is it something you're learning? Do you have a hard time with it? Just so we talk about something while we wait to see if anybody else hops in. Do you do visualization meditations? Is that something y'all incorporate into your craft and your practice? I'm going to give the definitions real quick. How I would sort of go over meditation would be separating yourself from external interference, external thoughts, and entering a point of stillness, not focusing on removing thoughts that come to mind, but just allowing them to pass by without thought, because removing it can sometimes be equally as distracting. Trying to still your mind as much as possible and simply focusing on existing. And that's sort of how I would define meditation. And then visualization, the form is the formation of a mental image of something. So visualization meditation would be creating a space to exist / visit, or something or someone as detailed as possible, and engaging in all of your senses, which could be like creating a movie in your mind's eye. So it's like a little bit different than straight on seeing it, that you can like interact with to some extent. I can visualize very easily over active imagination. That's something that like I could do really well when I was younger, and then when I became a teenager I had a little bit harder time of doing it, but then I realized it was getting harder for me to do, so then I started practicing it more, so then I can do it a little bit better now. I do visualization meditation. It's a work in progress. I love meditation. That's the easy part. Visualizing is not so easy. Okay, well, I'm going to give quite a few different little exercises that you can do. So, sorry if I'm looking down a lot. I've got like some good bit of notes down here because I didn't want to miss anything. And I also didn't want to be a little bit repetitive. So, some reasons why I would do meditation by itself or meditation, visualization meditation together, would be before spell work to calm my mind, enter like a place that I feel confident to do spell work. Some people like some people like putting themselves in a specific place to do spell work, and some people, rather than like working with things like, for instance, like if I was to actually light a candle, some people when they do spell work, they will visualize themselves lighting the candle rather than actually doing it. So sometimes it could be something that you do like before, or something that you can like fully intertwine with what you're doing. And then I think it's good practice for getting into that trance state, getting better with lucid dreaming, astral projection, and then also manifestation. I think visualization meditation is great for manifesting, because like, for instance, if you want something or you're trying to manifest something, being able to visualize it in reality and like interacting with it as if you've already achieved it is a pretty good way at it. Let's see. Okay, so when you look at visualization with more of the scientific, because I really like looking at things with a little bit of science with it too. So if you look at visualization with the limbic system, that is connected to recall, memory recall. And so when you recall a memory, like let's say you recall something that makes you really, really happy, when you're remembering it, you feel happy, versus like if you're remembering something that's really hard to remember, you like experience those negative feelings when you're remembering it. And that's because like it makes your body feel like you're experiencing that in the present moment. So if you're doing a visualization meditation, then depending on what you're doing, if you're doing that to work through something, that could be pretty hard. And when you're in the middle of that, whatever you're visualizing, you can sort of feel at the same time. So you have to sort of be careful with what it is that you're doing, because when you visualize, your body feels it like it's actually happening rather than it's just going on. I've been told it will help me to start remembering my dreams. Yeah, it will. I would also suggest, if you're trying to remember your dreams, if you wake up, just write down whatever you can remember. Even if you feel like you can't remember a lot, or maybe what you're remembering isn't significant. But if you just have like a piece of like paper, or like just a notepad, it doesn't even have to be like a journal. Like, you don't have to feel like you have to journal it to make it look pretty. You can just scratch it down like a random sheet of paper, and then you'll have your thoughts there. And if eventually you want to move it into something to look nicer, then you can. But then you'll have your thoughts there, and you won't feel the pressure when you first wake up to, oh, I have to style in this specific way that I do it to make this journal look nice. It's just like chicken scratch. It doesn't matter what your handwriting looks like. I literally, this is probably a dream right here that I have, because I keep random little sticky notes literally everywhere. I'll have like piles of sticky notes. I just have to reread them to figure out what they are. I just restarted doing this because of the reoccurring ones. Yeah, reoccurring dreams are also something. You can notice that you have a reoccurring dream maybe before you would notice if you weren't writing them down. And what I mean by that, if it doesn't make sense, is like eventually if you're having a reoccurring dream, you'll notice, because you'll be like, okay, that's weird, that's showing up a lot. But maybe it's something that's so insignificant that like you would write it down, but you wouldn't think about it, that's consistently showing up. And maybe you would notice it faster if you were like writing it. I've been using sticky notes at night. Yeah, see, they're really helpful. I have stick notes and little random notepads and papers, or if I like have like just a random piece of paper, I'll just write on it before I throw it away. No sense in not using it first. If you need, I think I just skipped. Oh, visualization is it's like a muscle that you have to practice. Like, you have to work at it to get better at it. Like, the first time you do it, you're not gonna instantly be the best at it. You're gonna have to practice it. And also the thing is not everyone visualizes in the same way. So maybe if you're judging yourself on like what the correct way, and I say that really loosely because there's not a correct way, but you might be judging yourself to be like, oh, well, I'm not doing it like that person's doing it, so maybe I'm doing it wrong. Well, maybe you just don't visualize the way that person does. Some people, they are like how some people, when they're thinking, some people have inner thoughts. Well, some people do more picture thinking when they're remembering things like that. So maybe if you're doing a visualization meditation and visually seeing something isn't the strongest thing for you, focus on a different sense, like a different sense. Use like your smell or texture or what you can hear, and try to focus in on that and work on that rather than just like beating yourself up because you're not doing the one thing that you're trying to do, like work with other things that you have, if that makes sense. I've been doing it at least once a day or some more, but no less than once. Yeah, see, consistency is really good too. If you just work out like a little routine of when you're doing it, or maybe if you like before you start doing it, every time you go to visualize, like have a visualization meditation, oh, gosh, that's like a tongue twister every time I say it. Maybe you play a specific song, or you drink a specific drink, or maybe even just brush your hair before you do it or something. Like get yourself into that little state, into the groove. And hey, I'm glad that you made it. I see a couple more people hopping in. Alright, let's see. Okay, so like I was saying, if you're working with other senses, you can add in other things. Like for instance, when you're sitting down, you're getting into that place, you can have a candle burning near you, you can have an incense burning near you. You can even wear like a certain perfume, and I have one. Let me grab it. This is something that I think would work good. I didn't think about the smell come Easter to me. Yeah, see, here's a good thing for smell. If smell is a good one for you, you'll like this. Let me open it up. Okay, so, golly, it's being a pain. Alrighty. So I don't have it on the chain right now, but here's a chain. And you can wear it, or you can just set it somewhere. You don't have to wear it, and this is what it looks like. And it has these different felt pads of all different colors, and you open it up, and what you do is you drop essential oils on this, and then you put it in here, and then you can wear it, and you can have it while you're doing that, and you can smell it and connect back to that. You can also use that if you're doing divination or anything. If you need something to call you back to this is my calm space, having like a specific smell or something would help. And this, if you don't want to wear the essential oil or something, because not everybody likes to wear it, or maybe it's like strong and you want to be able to take it off and not just have the smell on you, this is a way to do that. And it's also just a cute little thing as well. Yeah, so they're pretty nice. Hey Linda, glad you made it. Okay. Alright, also, I would say before you start your visualization meditation, I would ground, and I would try to fully calm and center yourself and remove external things going on, because it doesn't matter what's going on at work, it doesn't matter what's going on down the road, it doesn't matter what your friend's doing. When you're trying to get into that moment, you just have to think about how you are right now and where it is that you're wanting to go in your mind's eye, what you're wanting to visualize. And so cutting out all those extra distractors is helpful. And then I would do my personal, what I do, you don't have to, but if you would like to, you can, is I like doing the 5 senses for grounding. 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. And I do that while I am doing a breathing technique. Sometimes I'll do do a specific, you breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold, and then, or sometimes I'll just naturally breathe depending on like what I'm going for. And then I'll do the grounding while I'm doing my breath work. And that just really calms me, centers me, and then doing the grounding grounds me. I prefer doing visualization meditation outside. I really like doing it sitting in the grass or sitting on the porch, just because I like being able to listen to the birds and stuff in the background. But if it's like rainy or something, because I also really like thunderstorms, I will just throw open a window a little bit and sit by the window. That's also an option if you're not mobile to get outside or don't want to go outside, then you could sit by a window and still enjoy those. Or any sound or space that you like, that makes you feel comfortable, because that's the biggest thing, is you have got to feel safe and comfortable to be able to visualize, because if you don't feel safe and comfortable in your physical place, then you're not going to be able to calm yourself enough to be able to go elsewhere in your mind, because you're going to be too worried about what's going on around you. Some reasons that you could do this would be, like I said earlier, I mentioned some spell work and stuff like that. You could do it to connect to your dream state better, improve meditation and help manifestations, focusing on yourself, connecting to yourself, connecting to a specific space. You can do it to connect to a spirit or spirit guides, or to ancestors or deities or deities. You could also do it to remove yourself from your current space, or if you have a lot going on and you just want to use it as an escape, you can. I do that. I have, I called it world building. I think I mentioned it in a different live, where I will visualize. You can start with just a room, and so I would start with the door, and if you've watched Monsters, Inc., then that's going to help, because I'm going to use that as an example. And you see they all have different doors, and they all go different places, and each door looks different. So in my mind's eye, I'm going to completely design this door. I'm going to use the room for my safe space, or I'll use happy space. Okay, so for my happy space, let's say my door is going to be bright yellow, and I'm going to have sunflowers, and I'm going to have a nice circle window in my door to see in, because we're open and we're breezy and we're happy. And then I'm going to describe that door a lot more, probably. And then once I can really see that door and feel that door, and I know what it sounds like when I'm going to open the door, what the creak is, and then I'm going to go into that room. And then I'm going to fully design this room, and then I can go there in my mind's eye, or just view it, and that would be a space that is just all about me and what makes me happy. Nobody else has to like that room besides me. And then you can have a hallway, and you can have a bunch of rooms for whatever it is that you need that for. And that's something that I really like if I just need to, just get out of my head or get out of where I'm at. And then something else I mentioned earlier, you can use it for reworking through stuff in your past and combining it with shadow work. But I do not recommend doing that unless you have someone around you and it's a safe space, because that is going to be really hard. Because like I said, if you put yourself in a place, you're going to feel like it's happening again. So you need to be really careful. I don't recommend doing that. That's something that I do, and that if you feel like you're in a good enough spot to do it, then you can. But I wouldn't just recommend randomly doing it if you're not prepared, because it's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot. Because anything with shadow work is a lot. So if you're combining visualization, meditation with shadow work to rework and go through memories, that's a lot. And I would definitely recommend researching a lot if you do that. But that is a way that it can be used, so I wanted to mention it, because I don't want to leave anything out if I can know about it to share. But obviously there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. So if you know something, you can throw it in the comments, and it would probably help someone out. Or maybe even we can expand on it. But, so I'm going to go into just some mind-calming tips for if you're just having a hard time getting yourself into that calm spot before you're getting into your visualization. And that would be removing worry, like I said, finding a safe space. Let me grab a sip of my drink. Oh, my throat was getting dry. That's sweet tea. I would wonder if I saw someone drinking it, so I just felt like sharing. Finding a comfortable position. You do not have to be sitting in the classic, I'll use her for example. You do not have to be sitting just like this on the ground and in a silent spot if that is not how you do it. Get however feels comfy to you. If you want to lay down in your bed, lay down in your bed. I can't do that because I'm going to go to sleep. But whatever position feels good to you. And if you need to wiggle around, as you probably noticed, I wiggle around all the time. When I am doing that, I allow myself to slowly rock or fidget, because if I don't allow myself to rock, I'm going to inevitably get distracted trying to keep myself from moving. So if you just allow yourself to flow freely, then that helps, rather than trying to be really rigid. Also, trial and error. Try things. Try different positions. Try different places. Try different smells. Don't be afraid. It's not like you're going to get it wrong, and maybe you'll find something that works really good one time, and then it just doesn't work again. Or maybe you'll find your tried and true, and it works every time for it. But you won't know unless you try around with it. Some people like listening to guided meditations or listening to guided visualization meditations, and that's perfectly fine. If having someone say it to you is better, you can do that. Or if you find that if you're comfortable with your own voice and you know exactly what you want and you can't find what you want, but you're having a hard time getting there when you're thinking it, you could record yourself and then play it when you're in that spot. If you're an auditory person but you're picky and you can't find one that you like, which there's a gazillion of them out there. But if you really want a specific thing, you could record yourself and then play it back and then listen to it when you're doing it, and just have that going on as well. But I know some people just really don't like listening to their own voice back, so that might not be for everybody. Also, don't get annoyed at yourself. Don't get frustrated at yourself if random thoughts are coming to your mind. That just means you're a person. That just means your brain works and you're thinking about things, and that's okay. Allow yourself to think that, and then be like, okay, I just thought that, and then just let it keep going. And if that just keeps happening, where you just keep thinking random things, just keep pushing them out. If you find that it's just happening a lot, maybe that's just not your space. Take a couple minutes, go out, get yourself calmed down, and then try again. Or pick it back up a different time. Or if you need, like, I need to, like, acknowledge it. So let's say I have a thought that comes into my mind when I'm trying to, like, focus. You can literally just shake your head no and be like, and sigh at it, and just be like, but then just go right back. That could be your way of acknowledging that you had it, but then continuing on. Because some people, if they don't acknowledge it, they're going to get really stuck on it and be like, nah, I have to acknowledge this thought. So maybe the shaking your head would let you acknowledge it and then let it go. Also, I'm going to give you a couple examples I was talking about adding in, like, sensory input and routines. I'm sure people have heard of Pavlov's dog, and that's when the bell is rung, that means food's in the bowl, so eventually you hear the bell and you go and you know the food's there. So that's incorporating sound to know something that's happening. So for instance, my deck of tarot cards, those ones right there, they smell like pineapple. And it's a very specific pineapple smell. And anytime that I feel like I need to do a reading, and I'm not really sure, I shit you not, I'll smell that exact pineapple smell, even if I'm not near my cards. And that's just like a little thing where I'm like, okay, maybe I just need to listen. Maybe I just need to go. And then I'll go do one. And also, it's just something to connect to. And then here's another one that I did, and that's actually a good one for studying, so you can use it with other things. If you're eating a peppermint while you're studying, and then you're eating your peppermint while you're doing your test, you can remember, like, your answers. It's not like a guaranteed thing. You can't just, like, not study and eat the peppermint and then know, obviously. But, like, if you're doing something and you're trying to stay connected to a moment, like, let's say every time you start your visualization meditation, you eat a peppermint. You might, like, incorporate that, and, like, that will be your thing. Not to bounce backwards, but I just saw that and had to add it. Okay, so now I'm going to get into a couple different little exercises that you can do. And the exercises, they'll help with visualization, meditation, or regular. And that's why I keep referencing back, because this is really just like a basics and how to, like, introduce yourself. I would definitely recommend much more studying and researching into things. This is just if you're having a hard time getting, like, into that space. But, okay, so the first one I'm going to say is breath counting, and it's because it's distracting yourself from those thoughts by quite literally counting your breaths. So, I would usually do a set of, like, 16 in total, but you can do it as many or as little times as you want. I just have to have a goal. So, what I would say is breathing in, counting to 4, holding, counting to 4, breathing out 4, hold 4. And so that's 12. And so that's easy. Nice, cute, even numbers. And then, oh my gosh. Me making a mess. There we go. And then do the breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, if that's something that you like, because it's good for self-soothing and self-calming. I gotta stop writing in the top margins of my papers, complete side note, because then I don't remember where I start. But I like using up every inch of the page. I might be in and out crazy thunderstorms right now. Well, make sure to stay safe. I really love the way thunderstorms sound. I don't like driving in them. Thunderstorms just started here too. Oh my gosh. You guys better not live near me. It better not start thunderstorming. I got a lot of stuff outside. Like, currently in the driveway. And the dog is outside on the runner too. But, let me get back to this. Got a little distracted. Anyways, filling in your lungs slowly and from bottom to top, and then emptying slowly from top to bottom. Not just like sucking in and out rapidly. You don't want to make yourself hyperventilate. And then focusing on where your breath is going, like how you're filling in your breath. And like you'll know if you're filling in, like taking a full breath, if your stomach's rising when you're breathing in. Children and babies naturally do this, and then you stop doing it eventually. Where people start just breathing with their chest, taking really shallow breaths, and a lot of people don't fully breathe. There's actually some people that have a hard time like breathing and filling in their stomach, just because we don't do that a lot. We just take short breaths rather than fully filling up our lungs. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's like thoracic. It's not thoracic breathing. It's not that. I don't remember what it's called. But it's breathing with your chest, shallow breaths, rather than breathing with like your whole lungs. Girl, I do the same. I read a lot of pages. Let me show you this because you said that. I got little diagrams like over here. I have little notes down here. I got notes up here. I was writing up a storm. I didn't want to forget anything, so I was just jotting stuff down. And I get too scatterbrained, I'll forget. Okay. So alright, this is a separate exercise. That was one. Let's get to the next one. And this is, I would say, this is a good one for visualizing elements. So if you're trying to work on visualizing the elements, I feel like is a good one. So this is going to be combining breath counting and combining visualization. And I would say this is good for visualization, journeying, lucid dreaming, astral projection, like practice, good exercise for doing that. Start with a calm environment, calm position, as we do. Quiet, and then the exact same breath counting that I just explained, the each set 4, in 4, hold 4, out 4, hold 4, and then switch. But while you're doing that set, going through the set, the 4, 4, 4, and then 4, so you're 12, fully imagine one element. And so I would say one happy place for an element. So instead of just imagining fire, you could imagine a place, like that's your, I'll go back to the world building, your fire room. It could be like a lava pool or whatever you wanted. Or for water, it could be like this deep blue lagoon. For air, it could be a tornado, a bunch of them. It could be whatever you wanted. But when you go through each 4, like each set of 12, your 4, 4, 4, 4, you visualize that element fully. And then after you go out 4 and you hold 4 and you finish that set and you're going on to your next one, do one set without visualizing one, and then go to the next one. So that way you have a moment of break. So that way you're not just going fire, air, water. Now I sound like I'm in an Airbender movie. But you go like water, break, fire, break, and then that gives you like a moment. And then you work through them, and that can help you with visualizing because because you have a goal in your mind, you're just visualizing fire, and you're doing the breath work. So that's a good little exercise. Alright. What is that? Okay, so another one you can do is, this is a good one I would say of practicing, maybe even good for practicing fire scrying, if I'm gonna say that, but is you could have a pretty darker room and have a candle, and then allow yourself to just gaze at it without focusing on it, kind of like dissociating, but like not. It's where you're like looking at something, but you're not really looking at anything, but you're definitely looking. And I could just describe that better, but I'm having a hard time over here. But gazing, not focusing on anything with your eyes, and while you're doing your breath counting, I would say, if you need to, but you don't have to. And then while you're not focusing on it, seeing what you see in the flame. Soften your gaze. Thank you. I'm having a hard time. But a lot of times when I do that, I will see like a specific woman dancing, like as she is the flame, but a lot of times it looks the same. It's like the same person that I see. And that's another good way for practicing visualization, because you're you're not really visualizing something that you're creating up yourself. You're looking at something, but not looking at it while you're visualizing. And that could help. Sorry if I described that bad and you don't know what I mean. Put it in the comments, and I'll explain it a little more. Alright, let's get into the last little bit I got on visualization before we switch into color magic. Let's see. I'm just going through this to make sure I didn't forget anything. Okay, I got another one. This one's a little longer. This is a visualization practice. I'm going to just read through I'm going to read through telling you what you would do if you were doing it, but it's not like an actual guided meditation because I'm going to read through it quickly, and you would do these steps slowly. But you would imagine you could close your eyes or leave them open. Some people feel like they have to have their eyes open when they're visualizing, some people feel like they have to have them closed. I would do that experiment that I was talking about and see which one works better for you. But, so imagine a flat red disc floating, just in like a void of nothing. And look around it, touch it, spin it, face it, see the edge of it, see how the light changes on it, spin it around, fully explore this flat red disc. And then once you feel like you can move on from that, then it becomes a red sphere, a matte red sphere. Spin it, try to squish it, rotate it, stop it. How does the light change on it when you're spinning? Fully observe and question and explore this red sphere. And then, when you're ready, let it become an apple, a shiny red apple with a little brown stem, a small leaf. You can see all the marks, all the blemishes on the apple, the crispness of the edges of the leaf, the woodiness of the stem, the smell of the apple when you're going to slightly break it open, fully exploring and interacting with this apple. And then break it open. Imagine it breaking open into segments. You can see all of its inside, the core, the seeds. You can see it falling apart. You can see you putting it back together. Maybe you put it back together and the pieces don't all fit. Maybe you put it together differently. And then take it back apart and then put it together again. And then once you're done, it will change into a glass of apple juice. Move around the glass, see how the liquid moves, how does the light reflect on the glass, what does it smell like, taste it. Feel the apple juice in your mouth, the sensation of drinking the apple juice, fully interacting with it, with the sight of it, the taste of it, the smell of it, the touch of it, the sound of it breaking, the sound of you drinking the juice, and then fully working with it. And then when you're done, you imagine yourself consuming all of the juice, putting the glass away, and then imagine the glass going away, and then you slowly bring yourself out of that, and then that would be one of the practices I would say is pretty good for visualizing. Does anybody have any questions on visualization or meditation as a whole before I completely switch gears into color magic? I'll give it a second before I go there. But while I let you guys type any questions if you have, I totally felt like I needed to have something to show you besides the necklace and the statue. Felt like we needed something else. So I brought in a bunch of spell candles. Ooh, let's not break them. I got my good old gold and silver, different shades of blue, purple, yellows, pinks, blacks, oranges. Ooh. Pick these up. Got brown and white and red and some seafoam green. Just pretty much any color I could think of. If I see a color I don't have, I'll grab it. And then I have a yellow and purple and pink and blue up there. And then I will also, I'm going to grab you guys, so we're going on a trip, y'all, because if I'm showing you color magic, I'm gonna have to show you how I use it. So, with colors, I'm gonna use this, because this is, if you hear creaks, that's my floor, I swear. Okay, my phone's yelling at me to go this way, so we're gonna go this way. This is my green, and then this is my blue, and this is my yellow, and this is my pink. And pink and yellow go together for me. Oops. They're happy, they're loving, they're vibrant colors. And then greens and blues, they go together for me as well. And then, we're traveling. And then I have chakras. And then so if we go to color over here, this is where I keep my darker colors, my whites, my browns, my grays, my like more neutrals, and then these are my more vibrant. And I use that, one, for the visual effect of it, and then also if I am doing let's say I'm doing a working, and I want that working to get a bunch of extra love energy into it, I'm going to put that working, when I'm done with it, right in the middle of all of my pink. Because if I'm putting it in the middle of all of my pink stuff, like night and day colors, I do it with balance. I try to do like the light and the dark on either sides of my working space, because I feel like for me to work as a whole, I have to have both sides. So that's sort of how I plays. And then I have like specific things on there that represent like the dark side of me or the light side of me, and then this is like my combo party. But shoot, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Do I remember? I don't think I do. I don't know what I was saying. But I remember what I was saying. It took me a second. But yeah, so if I'm doing a working, I'll put it, like, if it needs a lot of love, I'll put it in the middle of the pink. Or if I think it needs a lot of peace and calming, I'll put it in the middle of my blue. Or so forth. So I use those as spaces for visual pleasing, like, effects of it, because, like, color magic, I think, also ties into, like, glamour magic and stuff like that. And so, like, the visualization part of it is nice. And then also the, using the the properties of the colors is something that I do as well. Thank you. Okay. So color magic, what is it? Using colors with intention to revoke a magical response. Boy, was I trying to find a definition that was simple, and when I finally put that together, I was like, chef's kiss. Anywhere, and I did this kind of like the who, what, when, where, why question. So that's the what for who, anyone, where, anywhere, when, anytime, all the time. Like, so you can do it to match. You can use color magic to match with moons. You can do color magic to match with the seasons. You can do color magic to match with astrology. You could do color magic to match with the zodiacs. You can do anything. Anything. Color magic is one that I love so much because everything has color. There is nothing that you're doing that has no kind of color in it, and if it doesn't have color, it's the absence of color. So, color magic, you can literally put that in anything. It's like making soup. I like it. So, honestly, sometimes the organized thing's not great, because when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I can't sleep because it just isn't right, that part's not great. But it does look good when I'm done with it. But you wouldn't want to know how long I sat there wiggling those things around for me to find the place that they need to sit. But it's cursing and a blessing at the same time. Okay, so I'm just going to go over some ways to use it. But like I said, it is like endless opportunities of how, like, ways to use it or like how to use it. Crystals, herbs. Okay, so with crystals and herbs, with color magic, you do not have to look at the like, for instance, we'll use a, this one. This is the first one I grabbed. Rose quartz. When you see rose quartz, I'm going to think self-love instantly. But let's say doesn't matter. I'm not looking at it for self-love. I need pink, so I'm going to go for this. So it doesn't matter if I'm using pink for something that's not something that this crystal would usually do, because I need it for that. Same thing thing with anything. Like, for instance, if you need a black crystal for what you do, you can use obsidian. It doesn't matter what obsidian does. You're using it for the properties of the fact of its color. So, same thing with herbs. You can pick herbs or plants, and you're not necessarily... You can, in addition, use those properties, but you don't have to. So you can pick a blue plant and it have nothing to do with the plant's properties besides the fact that it's blue. Ramble over. But also wall art. This is a big one. My house, I do my art based on colors. What'd that say? Hey there, sorry I'm late, but I'm sliding in here and ready to learn. I am so glad you joined. But I do my artwork based on colors and themes, so I'll have all of my like pinky, light, cute, inner child self-love over in one spot. I'll have all of my dark, edgy, I'm a writer in the woods in one spot. I'll have my I love pink and cupcakes in one spot. I'll have my I'm red and fiery in one spot. And I put it to where it's like a melting pot of the way that it flows through. So I put specific colors and themes next to each other so that way they work together because they're next to each other, if that makes sense. So that's sort of how I do it with wall art. You can do it with tablecloths, bed sheets. I have different color bed sheets for different effects. Like, for instance, my bed sheets right behind you guys are pink right now. It's because I was kind of sad and I felt like I needed some self-love. So I switched out to pink bed sheets, and you know what? When you get in your bed and you have nice clean bed sheets and they're pink, I do feel loved. Like a nice big cozy hug. So I think it works good. Towels, like you're using a towel to dry yourself off in the shower, why not just pick a towel because of the color? Add a little magic in something. Ink, pens, markers, coloring pencils, the color of paper you're writing on, the makeup that you use, the color of it, nail polish, tying into that glamour magic, clothing, accessories, jewelry, etc. You can paint rocks. Where are mine? Ooh. I painted in blue, and I painted, calm, we got love. But see, this love is not in pink because I needed it in blue to go with what this was going with. So, and I put it's a slightly different shade because the slightly different shade of blue is doing different stuff for me. But see, love you would normally think like a pink or something, and see, it doesn't have to be like that. Oh, I use the heck out of ink for this purpose. See, it's so easy to use, and it works great. Oops, wrong spot. Here we go. Get over there. Okay. Let's see. And I don't know, to painted rocks, painted anything. Painted tapestries, painted flower pots, painted whatever you want. Painted outlets on your wall, I do not care. Painted anything. If you want to paint it with intention for something specific, you do that. Also, people like hanging things off their review mirror, like little colored dice or something. You could change out the color of even your air freshener that you're hanging up in your car to go for something specific if you're wanting. Like if you're feeling down, and I'm just going to keep using pink for self-love because it's easy, put a little pink air freshener in there. And I guarantee you, if you put it in there with the intention for self-love, anytime you see the fact that it's pink and you're like, that's cute, you're going to think of the fact that you did that for self-love, and you're going to feel that. Cups, dishes, stuff like that. You can pick a specific dish to use. Sachets, talismans, amulets, sigils, symbols, candles. Alright, I think that's going to be into that list for a second. Also, I wanted to, where is this? I wanted to add this, for color magic. In Australia, one of the most haunted prisons, and I'm going to butcher the name of this place. It's in Ealing Gowie. I said that horrible. Don't judge me. I'll spell it. It's located in Geelong, Gaol. Anyways, it's a prison that's super haunted in Australia. And it was last used in 1991, so it's not that old. But anyways, there's in the violent men's ward, aggressive men's ward, in the jail, there's specific rooms and jail cells that were literally painted pink to try to soothe and give that loving energy to change the mood of men in the room, because they were so aggressive. They would try to put them in rooms painted specific colors to invoke certain behaviors. And that's not even like they were doing it with like some sort of witchcraft or magical or spiritual intent behind it. That was just because the psychology of colors. Oh, I about just spilled that, and how it affects things. Okay, and then with color, I would say I'm going to, in a minute, I'm going to go over what each color is generically used for, but when I do that, if they're, like, I'm going to use pink again. If pink is a color that you freaking hate, then that is not going to, they do that in psych wards? Yeah, that is something that they do in psychiatric hospitals and psychiatric rehabilitation centers. They use the paint at the drunk tank at the jails. Pink. Yeah, see, the color it invokes. Okay, so that's what I'm getting into in just a second. But I'm going to get into the science-y and, like, psychological bit of color, because I like including that with, like, every topic that I go over. But then after that, I'm going to give the magical color correspondences for each color. But when I do that, do not feel like that is the end-all, be-all. Like I was saying with pink, if you freaking hate the color pink, then that is not going to be a color for you to represent love in yourself, because every time you see it, you're just going to be ticked off. So then maybe you hate the color pink, but you love the color black, and that is the color that makes you feel the most confident and the best about yourself, then maybe that's your self-love color. And don't feel like you have to use pink if you freaking hate it. Like, your color correspondences can go off of how you feel. It doesn't just have to be what this paper says, or what that paper says, or what your book says, or what your teacher says, or anybody. So, and yes, there is some serious science colors. Not science colors, oh my gosh. Serious science studies on color. See, I am tongue-tied today. Okay. So, I'm going to talk about the biopsychology of color for a minute. And so, this changes based on location and culture, because different cultures and locations are going to view colors differently. And the best way I can use to explain this is money. So when we think of money, we think of green. But then if you go to a country where the currency is a different color, say blue or red, they're going to use the color blue or red to represent money, and they're not going to use green because that's not the color of their money. So it changes based on location and culture and things like that, just like it changes with personal experiences and memories. So, like, for instance, just like I said, if you like or dislike a color, it's going to change the way that you feel. Also, if you have a specific memory with people or situations that relate to a color, then you're going to feel differently about it. Like, let's say there's a person that you really, really, really didn't like, and every single day they wore this bright blue t-shirt, then maybe when you see bright blue, you're going to think of that, and then you're going to be irritated. So then maybe that's not a calming color, because then now you're pissed off because you don't like that person. Maybe not that severe, but you know what I mean. Colors are tied to feelings and emotions. So it affects it. So, biopsychology is how your body and your mind affect each other. So a good example of that is being hangry. Because, for instance, if you're hungry, then you get angry. How your body is feeling, i.e. hungry, makes you, your mind, your emotions angry because you need something. So you're pissed off, you need food, you're hungry. I use green, but ours is colorful Monopoly money. Bruce Mary uses green money and gold coins. Yeah, see, yeah, for instance, it like really changes depending on how you look at it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the colors, and this is not me talking about the magical aspect of colors, which they do like clash over top of each other. It's all a big old melting pot of how the information is. But specifically talking about the biopsychology of colors, we're going to go through primary colors first, except for we're going to sneak one in there that's not a primary color. So, of the primary colors, red is what we'll start with, and the shades matters. So when I talk about red, it's not like an end-all be-all, because, for instance, the darker colors of red are stimulating, while the lighter colors, getting closer to pink, are more sedating. Red can change, is known, I have to figure out how to word that. Red, the color, oh my gosh, let me take a breath. The color red can change heart rate. It can make people have violent thoughts. It could make people have increases of energy. It can make people have increases of hunger, an increase of lust, passion. The color red is also the first color to draw your eyes. It's because it has the longest wavelength, so your eyes have to like work at it to see it. And that is if you go into a room, it's proven that your eyes are going to look at the thing that's red first, and that's because of, like I said, the wavelength. Your eyes are just like pew to the thing that's red. That's why it's used in advertisement and stuff like that. Fun fact. Yeah, because it screams, "Look at me." It can increase physical strength, bring back that primal state. But then, like I said, if we go more towards the lighter end, get to that pink, it can be more nurturing, loving, soothing vibes, reducing physical stimulation, and calming you down. But then if you have too much red, you get all red and standoffish. But too much of anything is not great. Like, for instance, if everything in your life is blue, that's not going to be great, just like it's not going to be great if it's all yellow. You have to have balance in everything, not just other stuff, balance and color too. Okay, so blue, increased brain activity. The darker, increased brain activity is for the darker shade. For the lighter, it would be a decrease in brain activity because it's more calming. Reduces hunger, reduces physical stimulation, mental clarity, mental focus, increase in communication. Too much of blue could make you feel cold, uncaring, sadness, or detachment. So for instance, that'd be the difference between like a really nice light baby blue room versus like a dark navy blue room. You're going to get like different vibes. Yellow is like yellow would be more stimulating of the nervous system, increasing happiness. But if you're looking at a yellow-green, a lot of us are going to think like sickly. We're going to think like vomit. But if you're going to think like not a bright yellow, we're going to think more calming. And something I totally forgot to mention that I was going to is red affects you physically, blue affects you intellectually, yellow affects your emotions. Stop that. Green is really easy to look at. It's a nice balance. It's nature, calming, healing, resting. Blue and green together would be like intellect, like increased like thinking. And then to our non-primary colors, we'd have orange, which would be like a mix of red and yellow, playful, childlike, creativity, curious, uplifting. And that's going to be like physical and emotions because it's a mix of that red and the orange because the primary, obviously non-primaries are made up of the primaries, so it's going to have effects of both. And then with purple, I'm going to kind of intellect violet, purple, indigo, all of that. It's going to be like a mix of blue-red, so a mix of mental and physical. So a short and a long wavelength. So a very spiritual color. It used to be like a royal color because dyes are expensive and stuff like that. It is said that if you have too much purple, it could be like losing touch with your spiritual side, or it might be overwhelming. But like I said, too much of any color. White, black, and gray are they're not in science. They're like looked at more of shades rather than colors, which is a whole argument I'm not going to get into of whether they're a color or a shade. But anyways, so that can be more cultural, location, or personal. But anyways, black can be represented with nighttime or darkness. Or mysterious, and then white could be innocent, angelic, purity, and then gray could be looked at like a mix, a stormy, cloudy, unclear. But like I said, cultural and location and personal makes a huge difference. So that's my science spiel that I just needed to add in there. Sorry, autocorrect hates me. Dang it, did you dirty 3 times with the autocorrect? The science is a big... I'm so glad you like the science, because at first I didn't know if people actually liked that, or if I was just being annoying. Well, I already read that one. But to me, if I'm studying, like, the spiritual and magical side of things, I also, if I study the logistical side and, like, the psychology and the science side of it, to me, like, I find, like, it vibes and flows really good together, and it makes me have, like, a more stronger understanding. Because for me to work with colors magically, if I understand them scientifically, it gives me, like, a nice launch pad. And then also, it makes it to where I can challenge those thoughts scientifically, or challenge those thoughts spiritually, because I'm a big believer in not accepting any information as it is just handing to you, and researching and fact-checking and challenging all of it. I love the whole rounded aspect, so a bit of both is always good. Yeah, big science lover. I try to provide balance. I talk about things in all aspects, even if it's not necessarily something that is my shebang. Even if I don't necessarily do it, I still like to include it. So on that note of things I don't necessarily do, thanks for that segue. I appreciate that. Smooth. I'm not someone who's super big with working with the Greek and Roman gods and goddesses. I'm not opposed to it by any means. And not saying that I'll never do it. It's just not something I do all the time. I made up a list of the Greek gods and goddesses for color correspondences, and I got Miss Cheyenne to help me out with filling out the Roman counterpart for correspondences, because I just wanted to make sure that I was giving you all the best information, and it's not something that I usually do a lot. So I'm going to flip this paper around. Not this paper. I'm going to flip the camera around to show you this paper. I'll read a couple, but I'm not going to read the whole list. I'll pick like 3 or 4 off each one, but I'll put the list in the comments if you guys want me to. So let me grab you. Oh. Alright. Here we go. Wow, that did it better than I thought I was going to. Okay, so for Greek gods and goddesses, I just went through and it's not an all-encompassing list for sure, but I put the colors that would go with it the most, and then this in red right here, these are the Greek ones that are like this is like the Roman counterpart of the Greek one, and then these are the colors for the Roman ones. So I felt like this might help anyone that is working with them, and like I said, I try to include a lot of stuff so that way I can give like a broad scope, because like I said, I try to hit it with the science, I try to hit it with the what am I even talking about, what's the definition, what's the meaning, and then I try to like into it. Mind those little gestures, but I think you got it. Oh yes, please. Seems Greek and Roman are more common because everyone is taught it. Yeah. I figured that would be easy one, because I don't work with deities a whole lot. I mean, I do some, but like not a lot. It's not like a big thing. I'm a lot more of like energy and like flying inside of myself, basically. But besides that, getting distracted. I'll read the top 3 on both. So for Greek, Aphrodite, we got my cat's gonna come flying in here because that's her name, so I can't say that too much. But red, pink, seafoam green, and aqua, Apollo, gold, yellow, orange, red-orange, and then Aries, blood red, and black. Fun fact, because I'm thinking it and I want to share it. I have a big thing about naming animals after Greek and Roman gods and goddesses. So it's really funny for me looking at this list, because when I look at it, I see so many that were pets' names. But okay, so for Roman counterparts, we'll go Venus, red, pink, violet, silver, gold, aqua, seafoam green, shades of light blue, Mars, red, and then Saturn, black. So that's that. I'll even set it right here so I can do that as soon as the live is done, so I do not forget. Alright. Make sure I'm not missing anything before I hop into that. Okay. Last but not least, this will be my good old magical color correspondence list. Long awaited. So I'm going to go over that. I'm going to grab something before I do. I'll use this. That's fine. So, here's our good chakra representation. Oof, I don't want to open it up because I'm going to spill the chips everywhere, but I got little palm stones for each one of those, or I could use the cup if I wanted to instead. These are polished ones for the different chakras. Because when I'm working with one, I like being able to grab it. It's like a nice thing. And then I like having the polished, and I have the rough ones, but those ones I just keep up there more to like stare at. Thank you. Get over here, chair. There we go. Alright. So when I'm going over the color correspondences, I'm going to give the chakra, and I'm going to give the element, and then I'm going to give correspondences. So, let's start with red. So for red, the element is fire, the chakra is root. I'm going to try to not read these too fast, so if someone wants to, later when you go back to take notes, that you're not like pausing it, trying to like scramble to figure out what I said. So I'm going to try to not read it too fast. So for red, we have strength, power, energy, vigor, enthusiasm, courage, protection, action, life, excitement, energy, violence, lust, love, romance, passion, leadership, danger, fast action, and charisma. And so with that list, if you think back to the biopsychology list that I read you, you can see that there's a lot of crossover. But then, like I said, you also have to tie in cultural and location, and then how you personally feel, and then that would make up how that color would work for you. So orange, it's not particularly tied to an element, but you could use it to represent a fire element if you wanted to. Chakra would be sacral, and then for that it would be road opening workings, breaking blockages, opening new pathways, creativity, confidence, action, strength, attraction, encouragement, legal matter, communication, socialization, new opportunities, happiness, harvest, and then success, celebration, stimulating energy, intellect, and joy. And then I didn't do this for all of them, but for orange, for two Sabbats that would be good would be Mabon and Samhain, and I didn't include the Sabbats for all of them because can't give you everything. That one, not really. That one's just, I feel like, is a little bit easier. You just research the specific Sabbat, and pretty much anything in the world will tell you the colors that work with it, or you can just think about what color you think would work with it. Like, if I'm going to think Mabon, I'm going to think like brown, I'm going to think like red, and stuff like that. But I didn't list those for all of those, just that one. And then also with orange, you look at it like how many of those things are in the red. Or I'm about to read yellow, how many things of orange are in the yellow? Because, you know, the colors that are made up of other colors, things like bleed over. So yellow is the air element in the solar plexus chakra. And that is good for communication, creativity, learning, imagination, intelligence, reason, focus, memory, ideas, confidence, happiness, study, knowledge, prosperity, divination, traveling, mental clarity, and astral projection. And then, let's see, next will be green. For green, I would say the earth element and the heart chakra, and that I would say is nature, spirits, nature fae, good fortune, good luck, earth, prosperity, money, healing, fertility, balance, new beginnings, transformation, abundance, rebirth, growth, success, physical health, and healing. Blue would be the water element and the throat chakra, communication, reconciliation, healing, wisdom, education, meditation, understanding, intuition, opportunity, tranquility, calming, dreams, traveling, inspiration, forgiveness, justice, and creativity. A mouthful. Alright, I got 3 more colors to go, so while I'm reading those 3 colors, if anyone has any questions on color magic or visualization or meditation, go ahead and drop it down there, and when I get done with those 3 colors, I'll check it out and see if we got... Oh, I got a couple more than 3 colors. I totally lied. Sorry. But once I get done with all the colors, I'll check it out and see if there's any comments. Alright, so purple is the spirit element and the third eye chakra. Psychic energy, psychic intuition, spiritual development, magic, divination, psychic growth, meditation, spirit work, domination workings, divination, blessings, astral projection, emotions, subconscious, wisdom, and hidden knowledge. Pink is not connected to a chakra or an element, but I would say you could use it for the heart chakra if you wanted to. No, it is not naturally, like, regularly what that's used for, but you could if you wanted to. There's no rules. No rules. But that could be good for relationships, relationships of all kind. Love relationships, platonic friendships, amplifying compassion, amplifying happiness, self-love, personal growth, personal success, working with children and family, fertility, connecting with family and personal bonds, amplifying positive energy, romance, love, emotional healing, caring, nurturing, unconditional love, affection, forgiveness, and intimacy. Alright, brown, related to the earth element, nature, earthy, endurance, animal work, steady, security, harvest, grounding, decision-making, concentration, concentration, and then representing physical plane, working with the home, developing roots, connecting to location, strong, generous, giving, drawing boundaries, stability, mental goods, and protection. Gray, working with spirit communication, non-nature fae, like home fae, or different ones. Not directly linked to nature, I would say. Spirits, journeying, traveling, realms, stopping workings, canceling, neutral workings, not positive or negative, energy raising, and then if you need to represent the having no color, like not having a color, sometimes gray is used. Black would be protection, blockbuster, like breaking barriers, removing stuff that's holding you back, cleansing, binding, warding, spirit communication, truth, justice, challenges, prohibition, oh my gosh. That word is not liking me. Preventation. We'll just say preventing, because that word's not working. Defense, banishing against negative energy, putting an end to something, repelling, and it can be used with white to signify balance or opposites, and it can also be used with white for yin and yang. And then white would be an all-purpose candle, protection, cleansing, purification, truth, peace, meditation, enlightenment, moon magic, purity, truth, innocence, intuition, spirituality, higher self, a substitution candle for any other candle representing new beginnings, harmony, goddess energy, and deity connection. Alright, almost done. Silver would be the lunar energy, goddess energy, dreams, intuition, psychic energy, femininity. Oh my god, I can't say feminine. Female. Feminine. There we go. Feminine energy. Deity, meditation, and divination. And then last but not least, we have gold, which would be sort of like the opposing of silver. So got the solar energy, God energy, deity, success, fame, wealth, luck, power, happiness, masculine, strength, prosperity, intuition, and divination. That was my big mouthful, but that was every single color in all of the correspondences that I could possibly think of it. That was one heck of a list. But that is everything that I got. If any of you try the red disc exercise that turns into an apple, I would love it if you left it in the comments and tell me how that worked for you and if that worked well for you. And then also, if anybody tries or does already the world building where you do specific rooms, I would love it if you left that in the comments and let me know about that, because those are two things that I really enjoy and would love to hear back. But that is all that I got. So I think that's it for me, and I don't see any questions, but I'll give it just a second. But that is going to be it for me. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you guys got something from the live, and if not, just had a good time watching it and hanging out. So thank you so much for everybody that joined me. I'll give it just a second, and then I'll pop out of here. You are so welcome. Alright, I don't think we're going to get anything else, so I hope everyone has a great night. I tried the red disc to ball an apple, and the clarity of that was amazing. I had a lot of fun with that. Thank you. You are so welcome. I'm so glad that you liked it. If you end up doing it again, let me know how it goes from the first time you tried it to the second time you tried it, because sometimes things can get a little bit better, you know? Thank you. It was really interesting. Thank you. As always, I adore you and your lives. Ah, thank you. I adore you, and I adore you coming to my lives. It's awesome to hang out. Before I leave, I'm showing you guys my outfit because I'm so proud of it. I need to show it to someone that's going to appreciate it. This is what we got going on. Got this little, there we go. I felt like I would dress for the occasion. I usually am just pretty cozy with a little blanket, so I dressed up for you ladies. But I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you so much for coming to my live and hanging out with me. I had a good time hanging out with everybody. Drop comments throughout the video if you're watching the replay, and I will reply to them because I always reply to them. Hey Maggie, you hopped in for just the end, but I hope you just joined, so I'll catch the replay, but I love your outfit. Thank you. Thanks for coming by to say bye to me. I appreciate it, but I hope you liked the replay. I'm going to just keep saying bye to you all night, so I gotta go. But bye, everybody. Enjoy the replay.